nice to be here on this nice spring day after bathing in the creek for the last 4 days. Finally running water. This is really exciting. I mean, our meetings seem to be doubling in attendance every month, and that's really encouraging to see. I hope all of you know that House Bill 1385 has been filed, the Kuhn Medical Cannabis Act. Representative Sherry Jones should have heard from all of you by now. If not, please write her and thank her. Filing that bill without a companion bill in the Senate is non-traditional. It's not the way things are done here. We've been working for a month to find a senator to file a companion bill. We think we've got a few possibles, but they haven't stepped up yet. But Representative Jones knows and knew how important it is to get this bill out there. And so she went ahead and filed without that companion bill. When I spoke with her, I guess the day she filed the bill, she seemed a little ambivalent, not about the issue at all. She's very much behind it, but about sort of going against the process. I'll bet Representative Jones has done more interviews from Memphis to Mountain City in the last week than she's done in her entire career before filing that bill. I mean, I've seen TV reports in Memphis and Tri-Cities and Knoxville and other places, and she's an excellent spokesperson, and we're really pleased to have her. She needs to be joined by a dozen co-sponsors in the House, and I'm privileged that the House Democratic Caucus is going to give me a chance to speak to them, which they don't do normally. They don't invite activists on any issue to come into the caucus, but they're inviting me to speak. We have held off asking for other Democrats to co-sponsor the bill, wanting it and still wanting it to be a bipartisan effort to have both Republicans and Democrats on the bill. But I'm tired of waiting for the one Republican to stand up. And so, particularly when I've got somewhere between 10 and 15 Democrats ready to sign right now, ready to co-sponsor right now. So we'll just move ahead. And but having said that, I am encouraged by some of the comments we are getting from Republican legislators. Representative Pody, is that how we pronounce his name, has come out and said, you know, his position has flipped 180 degrees after talking to his physician about the issue and going to his own fundraiser and asking his supporters what they felt about medical cannabis, and 100% of them said, yes, it's a good idea. His constituents talking to him. I was really heartened. A young woman who I consider to be a niece wrote her representative in Greene County, David Hawk, about another family with a child with intractable epilepsy from there who have already moved to Colorado. She was pleased, and I was really pleased when she got a letter back from Representative Hawk saying, I've already met that family. I've seen that young daughter. No one who sees this family can remain untouched by this issue, and I am committed to discussing that family with my colleagues when I come back to Nashville. He's a Republican legislator. So again, I've been looking for a pony in a pile for 40 years now, and I'm about to dig it up, I think. It is there. I mean, Reverend Lillard said it very accurately. You know, we haven't really gotten rid of all of the vestiges of old Jim Crow, and the way we differentially enforce our drug laws is definitely the new Jim Crow. But I say that still fondly embracing my Federal Bureau of Prisons number as my credibility on this issue. And I'm not worried about anyone knowing who I am and what I think about this because they already know who I am. Agent Mike and I talk quite a bit on the phone. I'm joking, but perhaps not really. Just a couple of things about the bill. We started off with a list of about a dozen conditions, all serious medical conditions. She decided, after talking with someone, to add another serious condition, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, has now been added. If we pass, you know, the majority of states with legal medical cannabis programs still don't recognize PTSD. But it's good that we're starting off recognizing it. Realize that there are a lot of conditions that cannabis can help with that are not covered as we go forward. You know, until we get a bill in place, until we get a program in place, no patient is served in this state. And I've talked with a lot of you about this issue. I've used cannabis for medicinal purposes since the 90s, since my hip joints began to fall apart. I've had 2 hip replacements. I've got 2 other medical conditions, but the bill isn't written to make me eligible. I mean, there are a lot of people who need help in this state, and I think those of us who aren't on the list in this first go-round need to work just as hard as if you were on it, because in the absence of a program, you'll never be served either. You'll always still be at risk. That's the only other thing I'd like to do while I'm up here. If any of you have heard from a Republican House member or Senate member who has said something positive about the bill, would you raise your hand? Okay. Just tell, if you would, those of you who raised your hands, let us know the name of the person. Sorry.
Mark
Pody, okay. Pody.
I'm a former Republican officer, and I've talked privately with a lot of people that maybe I don't want to talk about in public for a second. But earmark, maybe I should talk to you after.
Please do.
About some of those who are sympathetic, that I know privately are sympathetic.
Good. Any other representative?
Steve Dickerson, I think I forwarded that to you.
Okay. We've had several conversations with Senator Dickerson that are encouraging.
He's an anesthesiologist also, and one of the few doctors in the legislature.
Right. One of 3.
You and I share the same 64. She responded to me in email. I'll share it with you.
Okay, good. And you and I are going to go meet with Dr. Hensley hopefully this week once we set something up. If we could get Dr. Hensley to pull a Sanjay Gupta, this bill would pass. I mean, honestly, because he has been sort of the go-to person, as for a long time the only physician in the legislature who historically has been opposed, but not in a knee-jerk way. I think he is someone we can continue to talk with. I haven't spoken with him, but please do. I mean, we got some initial positive from him. And, you know, frankly, unlike 6 or 7 years ago when I started doing this, when it was not uncommon at all to have a representative simply just dismiss you and keep walking down the hall, it astounds me that after about 6 weeks of going up there to meet with him, I've only had one legislator be dismissive. And I think he needs his Ritalin script adjusted, frankly. I mean, he was either on Ritalin or too much caffeine when we talked with him, but really only one out of the mass of people up there that we've spoken with. The issue is being treated seriously for the first time here. We need to move forward to be the first southern state. I just got an email this week from Wyoming asking if I wanted to come back to help them set up their program. Wyoming is a pretty conservative place, folks. I think more conservative than Tennessee, frankly. So we don't need to be the last one to get on this boat. Okay, thanks kindly, and go Niners.